portion of yesterday's ball game between the Phillies and the Mets. Yes, it was cold, but the sun was out. There was a celebration going on as they raised the National League pennant before the start of yesterday's ball game. Now we go 24 hours later, and boy, has the weather really changed. The temperatures will be in the 30s, but we are going to have baseball here tonight as the Phils look for their first victory of the season. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. We'll get to a frigid Greg Murphy in just a little bit. All right, so the Phillies will start Vince Velasquez today. He'll be making his first start in a Phillies uniform, not his first major league start. Based on what we saw in spring training, Matt, I think a lot of people were excited to see the power coming out of his right arm.
Well, I'm very excited. It's been a long time since we've seen a true power arm coming out of the starting rotation for the Phillies. Spring training, he went out, he was getting stronger every start he did. The biggest thing for him was he was able to command his fastball. He has that overpowering fastball work. It looks like it's coming in about 93, 94, but it gets on here very quick because he has a nice, easy delivery. His changeup he worked on very nice in spring training. Had a lot of hitters, off-speed pitches. We're keeping these guys off balance, which I really like. His composure on the mound's unbelievable. He's a workhorse. He's a very good athlete.
One thing that Cameron Rupp talked about, you saw Cameron catching in that game, but he also caught him in his last start against the Blue Jays. He said his slider was nasty against a very good Blue Jays lineup. All right, speaking of lineups, the Phillies offense, well, to say they're struggling is an understatement. But as Pete Buchanan told us before the game, it's early. He still thinks they got something in them.
Well, I believe they do too. You just don't go from having a very good spring training to having a tough 4 games. The biggest thing for these guys is the 37 strikeouts. They're trying to do too much. They got away from the spring training where they wanted to go out and take some pitches and work the count. Now all of a sudden these guys are going out swinging early in the count, and they're swinging at the pitcher's pitch. But one outfielder who I really enjoyed watching yesterday's at bat was Herrera. The 6th inning at bat with 2 outs, man on third base, he decided he wanted to go up and take some pitches. He wanted to work on getting his timing down. First 3 pitches out of the strike zone. 4th pitch is a pitch he probably would have swung at, but now he has his timing. He gets back on top of the ball, hits the line drive to left field for a huge knock right there. So it's a game of adjustments, going up there, seeing pitches, and that's what you need to do when you're not feeling well. Yeah, you want to swing at the first pitch. You want to get a hit. The more pitches you see, the better timing you get.
Well, I think we saw that starting yesterday for him, even when he had that infield fly rule pop-up. It looked like he had worked out a walk. We'll see if it helps tonight. He's back in the lineup for the Phils, and he'll be facing Bartolo Colon, who will be on the mound against Vince Velasquez. Well, speaking of Bartolo Colon, I think everybody has enjoyed watching him over the years just because of the sheer girth. But he's also been a strike thrower. We'll talk about Bartolo when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. By Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Toyota's hybrid fleet is nothing short of a home run. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn To see which pitcher was going to come out in shirt sleeves or not. Bartolo Colon with a sweatshirt warming up. Vince Velasquez, he is ready to go without any kind of cover on those arms. We get set for this matchup between those two, the veteran Bartolo Colon, the youngster, and Vince Velasquez. I tell you, last year watching Bartolo Colon, I don't know how he did it against everybody else in the National League East, but he certainly handled the Phillies.
Well, he handled the Phillies by one. He was spotting his fastball tremendous last year. Off-speed pitch, we know he doesn't throw a lot of them. He's a guy that goes out there and just absolutely pounds these strike zone with fastballs. Last year, he was second in the league with the slowest fastball on average, with 1,500 pitches thrown at 88.3. Colby Lewis is number one, but he's so cool on the mound. He knows he's not going to overpower guys. He's smart. He lives in the corner. He throws that sinker just on the corner. It fades away. You think you're going to crush it, and all of a sudden it goes out of the zone.
Well, you look at the numbers last year and the year before against the Phillies, 7-2. He's averaging 6 2/3 innings per start. We mentioned last year he was 4-1. He rarely walks anyone. As Matt said, all he does is pound the strike zone. And if he wins tonight, he will tie Pedro Martinez for the second most wins from a pitcher born in the Dominican Republic. Lineups and first pitch from a frigid Citi Field when we return. We get ready for a little baseball. There was some rain and some snow flurries throughout the course of the day here in Flushing. That's Bartolo Colon out on the mound. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. It'll be Galvis, Hernandez, and Herrera, followed by Franco, Howard, and Rupp. At the bottom third of Cedric Hunter, Peter Borges, and Vince Velasquez. They will face the right-hander Bartolo Colon, 42 years old, from Puerto Playa, Dominican Republic. 14-13 last year, an ERA of 4.16. Most of his damage, Matt, win-wise, came against the National League East. But that's all the Mets needed him to do.
That's all they want him to do this year as well. He's going to see them a lot of times. The scouting report on Bartolo Colon, nothing fancy. Tops out at 90 miles an hour. He will hit 92, 93 once in a while. The league is hitting 281 versus his fastball, 288 versus his slider, 274 versus his changeup, and he still finds a way to win.
Amazing. Well, they do score runs for him. At least they did the last couple of years. Time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, number one, Vince plus cold weather equals fastballs inside. Hitters do not like to hit when it's cold, so you need to throw inside. And two, Phillies clean it up. Runners in scoring position, at bats, defense, playing, running the bases, knowing the rules, everything.
First pitch of the night to Freddie Galvis is in there, so we're underway, and the count is 0-1. Some of those numbers that Matt was talking about, we'll talk about throughout the course of tonight's game, including runners in scoring position, where the Phillies are 3 for 25 to start the year. And when Pete talked about it today, he talked about falling behind in counts, and he talked about strikeouts. He said, we've got to cut down on our strikeouts. 0-2 pitch. Way outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The strikeouts are the numbers that are mind-boggling. I mean, 37 punch-outs. 32 for position players. 37 overall, including pitchers, who, by the way, are hitting .333 on the year.
3 of 9.
3 of 9.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Freddie Galvis. And Galvis fouls it back. Umpires for tonight's ball game. Chris Conroy is behind the plate. Jerry Meals is the crew chief over at first. Ron Culp was at second. And Paul Nart is around at third. Freddie so far 4 of 16 on the year. He's 1 for 4 yesterday. That one just missed an 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
And that is the pitch right there that you cannot give up on a left-handed hitter, because he loves to throw that front door sinker and try to freeze you with 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was good recognition by Freddie, because he saw that was going to be a ball out of the hands. Breaks his bat, lines it softly to first, so 1 away. Cesar Hernandez is coming up. All right, Murph, you have your green screen down there to show us what the weather is going to look like the next couple hours?
I should have brought my green screen. Whether we like it or not, the weather is a storyline in tonight's game based on my very fancy weather app on my phone. 40 degrees at game time, and the winds are supposed to pick up pretty soon. About 8 o'clock, they're going to start to kick in to make it much, much colder. They're saying it might feel in the 20s tonight. So where does that rank in terms of all-time coldest games in the last 25 years for the Phils? Where there you see it. It would be 6th on the list. We all remember back in 2009, the postseason game. Matt, I'm certainly sure you remember that. 35 degrees at game time for that game. And then a couple just in 2014, back-to-back games in Chicago to start off the season. Game time temperatures 38 and 39. I remember those very well. This is in the ballpark. I will say the wind's not blowing right now, so it's not terrible. But if the wind starts to kick in, yeah, it's going to be a long night down here. Cesar
Hernandez down looking on strikes, so there's 2 away. Well, Murph, they played baseball in Detroit today. The Yankees and the Tigers played earlier. The Yankees won that one 8-4. And listening to that game on radio on the way up here, I guess the temperature in the 5th inning was 32 degrees.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound like any fun. I talked to Cameron Rupp before the game about what it's like to play in these kind of conditions. He said, look, you basically just have to block it out of your mind, and just go out and play the game as best you can. And Matt, we talked about it. Advantage pitcher certainly in these conditions. However, you like it because it might help some of the players get locked in.
I like it a lot. I mean, I think hitting in cold weather, what it does is it shrinkens the strike zone. You don't want to hit that nasty sinker away. You don't want to swing at that backdoor curveball. You're waiting for your pitch, which you should every time. But when it's cold, you don't want those bumblebees. You don't want to get stung on the jam shot.
Well, Colonna's come out and just fired strikes in this 1st inning.
You sound surprised.
I think I was surprised that the pitch to Galvis, that the umpire didn't buy into that one, that he called a ball. Odubel is 2 for 15 so far, hitting $133. He had an RBI in yesterday's ball game. And the 0-2 pitch. Fouls it back.
See, that's the pitch right there where Bartolo Colon tries to lull you to sleep with the 87, the 88. Then all of a sudden you get 2 strikes. He did the exact same thing to Cesar Hernandez. He popped one at 92 and froze Cesar.
And Cesar knew it too, that it was a strike. He walked away as soon as he saw it go by him. Way outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Bernice Graham of Riverside. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Bernice will win $200. Yesterday was the first day we did not give out any money during the McDonald's home run jackpot. Odubel checks his swing. They appeal. No swings is Paul Nart. And it's evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good call. He held up his swing. And what I like is that he didn't give the reaction of no, I didn't swing afterwards. He allowed the umpire to make the call.
Right, in point to the outside part of the plate.
Watch out for this front door sinker right here. Nope, going away.
Fouled back to the screen. Pete was asked today about the the actions of Odubel on those pitches during our meeting with him, and Pete said, that's just who he is, basically. Two balls, two strikes to Odubel. In the dirt, 3-2. So he threw something other than a fastball. Odubel trying to work his way on here. Mentioned last year how Cologne had very good numbers against the National League East. So he was 4-0 against the Braves. He was 4-1 against the Phillies. Against the Nationals, he was 1-0. Against the Marlins, he was 4-2. And a strike three called. Got him with a fastball looking. Ball had a little movement on the end of it. So he finishes with 2 strikeouts here at the top of the first. We'll head to the bottom of the first here in New York. Phil's nothing, and the Mets coming up. The Mets nothing. Let's take a look at Terry Collins' lineup for tonight, brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. It'll be Granderson, Cabrera, and Cespedes, followed by Lucas Duda, Neil Walker, and Michael Conforto. Wilmer Flores starts at third base for David Wright. Travis d'Arnaud is the catcher. He'll bat 8th. And batting 9th and pitching is Bartolo Colon. And they will face 23-year-old right-hander Vince Velasquez from Pomona, California. And this cold is all mental, as he goes out there with his shirt sleeves on. Hard throwing right-hander will top off above 95 miles an hour. And last year with the Astros in 19 games, he had an ERA of 4.37.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this start. We said in the opening, he was getting stronger and stronger throughout spring training. You can see the scouting report. Like you said, Tom, he will top out at 96. Lives right around 94, 95. 7 starts, like you said, last year for the Astros. But his fastball, the league was hitting 242. Slider, which is very good pitch, they were only hitting 222 versus the slider last year.
All right, so he'll face Curtis Granderson to start things off. Granderson was 0 for 5 in yesterday's ball game, hitting under 100 so far. First pitch is inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. He's 1 for 13 after hitting 259 last year, walking 91 times. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. See the alignment against Granderson. They play him to pull. Franco, the third baseman, is on the right side. Two and 1. Velasquez throughout spring training had an average fastball around 95 miles an hour. You can see the velocity so far. It's lower than that, but temperature is pretty low as well.
Now, so that's a good pitch. If Colon's going to get that last pitch to Odubel Herrera, that has to be a strike as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a tight strike zone, though, if he's not going to give that ball that turned out to be ball 3. So Granderson walks. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest growing LTE network. A base runner for New York as Drupal Cabrera will be the batter. Switch hitting shortstop was 1 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. His numbers a season ago with the Tampa Bay Rays, where he was primarily the shortstop for Tampa. The year before that, the Indians traded him to the Nationals, and he was a shortstop with the Indians, and he was an excellent shortstop. But the Nationals used him as a second baseman because they had Ian Desmond. No balls and 1 strike to Cabrera. Granderson stole 11 bags last year. The ball somehow slipped out of the hand of Ryan Howard. Granderson was laughing as the ball slipped out of the hand of Howard. One ball and 1 strike to Cabrera. Velasquez pitched in 5 games during spring training. 4 of those games were starts, and he had an earned run average of 2.25. Last outing that he had against the Blue Jays was his best outing. He went 6 innings. He allowed 2 hits. He did walk 3, but he struck out 8. And that capacity crowd in Dunedin that day on a warm afternoon with the wind blowing out, they were treated to not only Velasquez on the mound for the Phillies, but to start, Stroman was on the mound for the Blue Jays, and it was as electric a spring training game as you were going to find. And his fastball slider combination was very effective that day. Out to left field. Cedric Hunter venturing back, and at the edge of the track makes the catch. 1 out. Granderson back to first. And Cespedes will be the batter.
I absolutely love what Cameron just did there. After throwing a couple of balls, he was hurrying his delivery. He was worried about Granderson at first base. Cameron goes out and says, "Hey, I'll take care of the base runner. Just take your time and throw a strike." He went there, he threw a quality strike, can of corn, fly ball to left field.
Well, there is a leadership component to Cameron Rupp that's evolving and has to evolve as a catcher. But he is not afraid of voicing his opinion. Good, bad, indifferent, or funny. Cespedes, those are his combined numbers last year. 17 home runs as a member of the Mets. So far this season, he is 2 for 12 as he takes high. It's 1-0. Boy, he's just got to bring that fastball down just a little bit. At least that's what the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy, is telling him by not calling it a strike. Outside, 2-0. Trying to get a feel for that baseball.
I would think it's going to be extremely hard for a pitcher. Almost feels like you're throwing an ice cube when it's cold out.
Talking to Jared Eickhoff after yesterday's game, and that was high. Jared said that the cold did affect him a little bit. He said he just couldn't, he couldn't get the feel for the baseball right away. He said, I don't know if I was nibbling or if it seemed like I was nibbling. I wasn't trying to. But he said that as the game went on, he felt much better. He felt much more comfortable and in tune with what he was trying to do. Green light for Cespedes, and man, did Velasquez challenge him. Eickhoff yesterday went 5+ innings. 5 hits and 3 runs, struck out 3. I said, did the double make you wobbly the next inning you went out there? He said, no. He goes, I just think it's the natural progression of the season. He said, I did miss a couple starts in spring training. He said, so I may have just gotten tired in that 6th inning. Out toward right field, Peter Borges, a long run. Same with Hernandez, who just peaked. It's into foul territory, and the wind, which Murph talked about that it was getting here, and it has arrived, just blew it right into the seats. See the flags moving around. Murph's going to have to look at that weather app and adjust his temperature in a few minutes.
That time of day, tough sky.
Yeah, and it was playable when it left the bat. It just whoop, sort of sliced into the crowd.
Nice, easy delivery here. Do not worry about Granderson. You know he's going to be running.
Granderson does take off, and the pitch is hit in the air to right field. Borges did see this one. Pretty good battle right there by Velasquez to win it. And with 2 outs, Lucas Duda's coming up. Matt, do we expect Velasquez to be a fly ball pitcher because of the fastball and the way it does come up in the zone?
I would believe so. He pitches at the top of the zone. Now, if he gets that fastball down the zone, you're going to see a lot of weak ground balls. Now, we haven't yet seen a real good off-speed pitch from him. He's trying to establish the fastball, which is smart. But I would agree, though, Tom. I think once he gets his velocity 94, 95, 96 during the season, he'll be a fly ball pitcher, sorry.
Duda takes on the inside corner, 0-1. Granderson at first base, being held on by Ryan Howard. Oh, there you go. There's your first pitch other than a fastball. Chris Conroy is not going to give the top of the zone strike tonight. At least he hasn't to Velasquez in this bottom of the 1st. Pulled toward the hole, and Hernandez knocks it down. It'll be a base hit for Duda. At least he was able to hold Granderson at second base, because if it had gotten by him, I would think Granderson would have kept on going because of the depth of the outfielders.
I would agree. It would have been interesting to see if Hernandez does come up with this ball right here, if he would have had a shot at first base. You know, Duda doesn't run that slow, but he had to go a long way to his right. And I agree 100%, Tom. What you said is if he doesn't knock that ball down, now all of a sudden you have first and third.
Because you have outfielders right now, Odubel Herrera in center and Peter Borges in right. They're fairly deep for this Mets lineup. And there's a lot of ground out there to cover. Neil Walker, 5 RBIs so far this season, including 2 in yesterday's ball game. Fastball on the inside corner. He starts off the same way he started Duda off.
I would be surprised if you see another breaking ball right here. Pretty good chance it's going to be a fastball inside.
Yep.
And the only reason why I say that is because he started off Duda with a fastball inside, came back with an off-speed pitch curveball where you can see this is a unhittable fastball. It's a strike. It's a good pitch. So you went fastball, curveball to Duda. You don't want to get into a routine facing left-handers with a fastball inside followed by another curveball.
0-2 pitch. 3 straight fastballs. That one's fouled back to the second level. Pitch inning so far. This is going to be pitch number 22 when he eventually delivers. Granderson chased back to second base. The 0-2 pitch in the dirt, smothered by Rupp. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that pitch right there, that curveball, is Vince's second favorite pitch with 2 strikes facing a hitter. He throws a fastball a little over 63% of the time. Then he throws his curveball 25% of the time. So it tells me he has the confidence of being able to strike you out with the fastball, or he has a lot of confidence in that curveball with 2 strikes.
Changeup. Yeah, he threw a changeup. It's even now 2-2. That's the first changeup he's thrown tonight.
He only threw that 4% last year, if you were wondering.
Well, that may be the last one he throws tonight, then, if those numbers are correct.
That was a good changeup, though, down the zone.
Runners lead off the 2-2 pitch. Fouled back, or up to the left. 95 on that fastball, so that's the hardest ball he's thrown tonight. He is a confident kid. Just getting a chance to know him a little bit since spring training began. Pete Buchanan said, "I like the way he attacks." And I said, "The strike zone?" He said, "No, just attacks." He said, "Yeah, the strike zone mostly, but I just like the way he attacks from start to finish." He's got a good battle going on here with Walker. It's building his pitch count up. He's at 24 here in the first. I should say 25, but he does attack. To left center field. That's well hit. Hunter going back. The wind will keep it there, and he'll make the catch, and the side is retired. All right, so
Check out Breakfast on Broad next week on Comcast Sportsnet.
We'll see you Monday morning at 6.
folks, on Breakfast on Broad on Comcast Sportsnet this week, we'll certainly be talking about that. The Flyers, a 3-1 victory over the Penguins. They have clinched a playoff spot, and everybody is happy in Philadelphia. Boy, it got tense these last couple of days. Poor Larry Anderson didn't know what to do with himself.
I never knew Larry liked that much hockey. No, I did, and congratulations. It was outstanding. I watched the game today, and what a relief.
Michael Franco leads it off. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And it was on in the clubhouse.
Yep.
Phillies athletic trainer Scott Sheridan had the Masters on his computer and had the Flyers game up on the television. So he was multitasking before the ball game today. 1 ball and 1 strike to Franco. Outside, 2-1.
I just found it was very interesting that Boston and Detroit, if they win, I mean, basically you got to win out for the Flyers. And they both lost, and Boston got destroyed today at 6-1 at home versus the Ottawa Senators. So once again, congratulations and good luck, and I will see you at the rink.
And even though Canada is not going to be represented in the postseason this year,
we have a lot of Canadians in the NHL.
And Ottawa helped out the Flyers' cause.
Absolutely.
Franco fouls it back. Franco on Sunday got hit by, or excuse me, on Thursday got hit by the pitch in Cincinnati and had that arm wrapped yesterday and has a pad on it today. He said before the ball game that he felt fine. Said it wasn't as stiff as it was yesterday. Slices that one foul. It's 2-2. It's not going to be the last time he's going to get hit by a pitch because he's the Phillies' best hitter.
Yep.
He does hang around the middle, I mean, the inside part of the plate. He knows that. But I think you'll see that pad for a little bit of little while.
I think you're going to see it for a while. Him and I, we were having a chat today. I said, it took me one time to get hit, and I wore it for 17 straight years.
Ground ball softly to the right side. Walker is up with it. And 1 away. That'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. Ryan Howard has 1 home run so far this year. Came against the Reds to dead center field. And Murph, it just seems like every time he hits a home run now, he's going to be hovering around rarefied air.
It's really special, and when you start to kind of put Ryan Howard's career with the Phillies in perspective, you start to see, just how special it was. Yeah, he had the home run the other day. It was a 2-run home run, 2 outs in the inning, and it moved them up on the all-time list. And how about tying a guy named Yogi Berra on that all-time list? And if you take a look at the list and you expand it out a little bit, right in his in a couple of weeks, he's going to pass a guy named Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. So it's really remarkable when you stop to think how many home runs, 358 home runs Ryan Howard has hit in a Phillies uniform. It's I like being able to put it in perspective and see where he ranks all time. And when you look at some of those names, it really is remarkable.
Talked to him today about it. He had no idea that he had tied Yogi Berra, and he was that close to Joe DiMaggio. And he said, he honestly said, as he takes the 0-2 for strike 3, third strikeout for Cologne, he said, honestly, that's overwhelming to me to think about the fact that I am even with Yogi Berra. I'm right behind Joe DiMaggio. He said, I had no idea. He said, I have to take a step back now and really think about it because that's baseball history right there.
Well, and that's, I think, a lot of players. Yeah, you hit a lot of home runs. You're getting a lot of home runs, and then all of a sudden, when you find out your name is with these great players that played the game, it is. I mean, you sit back and go, man, that's unbelievable.
Well, he's down on strikes at the third strikeout for Cologne. Here is Cameron Rupp. He'll take strike 1. 88-mile-an-hour fastball. We say that, and Matt alluded to the velocity during the open tonight. But there's constant movement on this fastball from Cologne. This is nothing straight.
Well, there's nothing straight, and what he does is he aims for the corners. And I know it might sound you're supposed to aim for the corners, but when you're throwing 88, 89, 90, you live in that corner and it fades out last second.
Back toward the middle, a base hit for Cameron Rupp. It's got to make him feel good after yesterday's 3 strikeout day.
Well, sorry, Tom, but yesterday's the 3 strikeout yesterday. He was amped up. He was ready to go. He wanted to hit a ball so far, and he got away from mechanics. And today, we had a nice little chat. He said he needed to close his front side up, turn the front toe in a little bit, and it helps him. It helps you stay closed and it helps you stay back through the middle of the field. It's a good adjustment. We talk about adjustments. There's one right there.
Well, the Phillies have a base runner. Their first of the game, Cedric Hunter, is the batter. Cedric takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, he was taking some pretty heavy swings yesterday. They were getting kind of long, and
Again, opening day in New York. You get all those people, you want to impress them. The harder you swing, the slower your bat speed is. Because you start gripping so hard, you start, your upper body. Everyone talks about your hands, your feet, your head. If you look at a lot of people's shoulders when they're hitting, if they have like the crouched up shoulders towards their ears, it means their shoulders are really tight. That means they're going to have a slow bat, because all of a sudden now you're so intense that you're holding the bat so tight. That's why I absolutely love to see hitters take a deep breath and just drop your shoulders. As your shoulders drop, as your shoulders drop right there, you see the nice easy swing. He's not tense. So the upper body stays nice and loose. That's the key.
Well, I think the other part of it too is that now that you guys have talked about it and he has mentioned that to you, now he'll know it even during the game.
And all he needs to have is Hendu remind him.
2-2 to Cedric Hunter. 2 for 11 so far this year. 1 for 3 yesterday. His one was an infield hit.
Every player has a key in hitting. And that might be Cameron's key, is front toe turned in. Just remind me when I get out of control with my swing.
That one's pulled toward first, gobbled up by Duda. Other side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left for the Phillies. Cameron Rupp is left aboard. Will leave for the bottom of the second. Phillies home opener will be this Monday at 3:05 when the San Diego Padres are coming to town. All fans will receive the Phillies commemorative opening day cap. Again, that's free to all fans. Tickets can be purchased, as always, by going to Phillies.com. You can do it right now if you want. Well, Murph, we kind of found some outfits that you could have worn down there if you wanted to stay warm.
Yeah,
you couldn't find your Chewbacca outfit?
I have 6 layers on, but a Chewbacca outfit probably would have helped.
There's Michael Conforto, who leads it off. Conforto so far 4 for 9. Well, that's what Matt talked about in the last inning. If he's down in the zone, you might see a lot of that. Broken bat ground balls. Weakly hit to one side of the field or the other. So a nice start for Velasquez here in the second. A 1 pitch out, and Wilmer Flores is coming up.
I love the fact that, and that was one of the keys we talked about, was fastballs inside, because hitters do not like to hit in there. Especially after that pitch right there. You absolutely destroy a bat from Moore Kenlin. Now all of a sudden, next at bat, he's going to cheat, open up, opens up the whole outside.
Flores the hitter, and he takes a fastball up. It's 1-0. Flores playing third base tonight for David Wright. Terry Collins gave David Wright the opportunity to play either tonight or tomorrow, and Wright rightfully looked at the weather forecast. It's going to be cold tomorrow, but not as cold as tonight, and said, you know, I think I'll sit out Saturday nights. They're going to try to manage his numbers this year, his games played. Inside 3-0. Sandy Alderson, the general manager of the Mets, said 130 games is what they were hoping for David Wright this year. And then a few days later, David said, I think I'm going to play a little bit more than that. So they backed off a hard number as Flores draws a 4-pitch walk. Second walk issued by Velasquez. And Travis d'Arnaud will be the hitter. d'Arnaud yesterday picked up his first hit of the season. He's 1 for 9. So hitting a .111 after hitting .268 last year with 12 homers and 41 runs batted in. Phillies loved Travis d'Arnaud when he was in their system. The only problem is that they wanted Roy Halladay and the Blue Jays wanted Travis d'Arnaud. A lot of people thought that Kyle Drabek was the key to the deal to get Roy Halladay. As it turned out, if you ask the Blue Jays and their scouts, it was Travis d'Arnaud that was the key.
Oh, he's a good player. Good hitter, good receiver.
On the outside corner. He just pumped a fastball at 94 to pick up his first strikeout of the season. Boy, he goes from walking a guy on 4 pitches to then just humming the strike zone.
Well, he picks the corner. Nice fastball right there. Unhittable. I'm just wondering with the Flores situation with the 4 straight balls, he did face 3 consecutive lefties, and 5 out of 6 hitters have been left-handers, so he's been kind of living on that inside to left-handers. No problems with the last hitter.
Or to start this hitter, Bartolo Colon. A 138 hitter last season.
Out there grinning. You know, you talked about David Wright having the option of playing a night game or day game. He's played over 1,000 games at night and only 500 day games in his career.
Up the third base line. That's a fair ball. Franco will throw him out. Nice play by Michael. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. Doesn't matter what Colon does. They love him here in New York. We'll go to the 3rd scoreless game. Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, here we go. Which Mets pitcher won 3 games in the 2015 postseason? Which Mets pitcher won 3 games in the 2015 postseason? Answer will be revealed a little later on. Just so you know, it does not have to be
A starter?
It does not have to be a Mets pitcher. Could be somebody else that is now with the Mets.
So like Nice?
Okay, yes, it could be like Jonathan Nice, something like that. As Drupal Cabrera was trying to cool off Bartolo Colon before he went back out to the mound to warm up after hitting that slow chopper up the third base line.
Right there, he knew he was out.
Well, he's smiling the entire time. The fans are getting louder as he's running up the line. Peter Borges will lead it off here in the top of the third. Borges 1 for 12. Shows bunt. Not a bad idea. Does have very good speed. That's going to smart a little bit.
That got 2. That got shoulder and a chin.
Yeah, got both. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. CC Sabathia today pitched 6 innings to pick up the win, handing the Tigers their first loss of the year. 8-4 the final score. Mike Pelfrey suffered the loss for Detroit. And listening to that ball game on the way up here, I guess Pelfrey is still very slow when he's on the mound. Jacoby Ellsbury had a big day. He had a big triple. Carlos Beltran hit a home run. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Peter Borges. The Tigers were one of 3 teams still unbeaten coming into play today. They were 3-0 before that loss to the Yankees. Left side, Flores throws out the speedy Borges. 1 out here in the top of the third. The other unbeaten teams were the Baltimore Orioles, which is incredible, and it goes to show you that it doesn't matter a lot of times what you do in spring training, because they were 0-10-2 at one point in spring training. And the Orioles are 4-0. They're delayed right now in their ball game. And the other one was Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh lost today to Cincinnati 5-1. So Pittsburgh is now 4-1. Raisel Iglesias, who the Phillies saw in the opener, pitched well today for the Reds. As Velasquez takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And San Diego finally scored a run last night.
Finally scored a run. Scored a lot of runs, actually. This is Velasquez's first ever, I'm not counting spring training, but first ever professional plate appearance. And he'll look forward to his second one. Strikeout victim number 4 for Bartolo Colon. We saw Vince today in the locker room. He had his Phillies ski cap on, and he was going into the cage to take some hacks.
I asked him, I said, are you more excited about pitching or hitting? He was pitching, man. We need a W. But if it comes across where I need to get a big knock, I'm going to try to get that big knock for an RBI.
There's Freddie Galvis. I think Murph talked about it during spring training. He was an unbelievable hitter in high school. Now, high school and the pros are a little different.
A little bit.
He had 608 in high school. He also stole 18 bases. Matt, speed is speed.
That it is.
1 ball, 1 strike to Galvis. He lined out softly to first, his only time up.
Not a fan of a 2-out bunt. Unless you have plans on stealing second base, drive the ball, hit a double, get in a scoring position yourself. I don't mind the speech as the guy that can steal second base. I'd rather see you hit a double right here.
Freddie tried to check his swing. He went around. 5 strikeouts for Bartolo Colon through the first 3 innings. Well, Freddie Galvis tried to check his swing. Just kept on going. Is brought to you by Jefferson. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. Buy your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit delvalhondadealers.com. And buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Play Escape to Margaritaville, the new instant game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older to play. Matt, we unveiled our new jackets the other day, which Murph is wearing and I'm wearing up here and you have with you. But I think we should have, I don't know, I think we should have looked outside the box a little bit. Maybe gone fur.
No.
Here's Granderson to lead it off. He walked his first time up. He takes strike one. It's 0-1.
The fur would get a little wet tonight.
I don't know. She looks awfully warm, though, Murph.
I have to go sit next.
Yeah. That probably would work. 1 ball and 1 strike. She doesn't have the right gloves on, though. Cabaret Rupp back to the screen, and that'll be out of play. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. I have to say, we did not know what kind of crowd was going to be here at Citi Field. I think a lot of people anticipated the winter feel to tonight's ball game would dictate an empty ballpark. It's not empty. It's a really good crowd. Yeah.
Very good. Fireworks tonight, Tom. Everyone likes fireworks.
Well, they're not going to warm you up, though. Granderson strikes out. Second strikeout for Velasquez. 1 away. Those guys decided to wear something that people could find them.
Look at the movement on this baseball. It's supposed to be a fastball in the inside corner. It moves so much it hits the outside corner.
Guy must have been a big Pokemon fan when he was younger.
Or lost a bet.
Or just walked out of the house. It was the first thing he saw. As Drupal Cabrera fly to left his first time up. late on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 0-1.
I absolutely love it. Getting loose, 95, 96. He's thrown in there. And believe me, if he hits you, he does not care. He's thrown in there effectively, just missing in that pitch there, throwing the fastball inside. As a hitter.
Well, that one's just punched inside the third base bag. It's a little unlucky. Cabrera is going to wind up at second base. First hit of the night for the Mets. With the overshift on, there was no chance for Freddie Galvis to get to that baseball.
It's just tough luck. It's a good pitch. You throw that pitch probably 10 more times, and he's either going to roll over to the right side,
or take it for a strike.
We'll take it for a strike.
Cespedes flied to Borges in right field his first time up. He's 0 for 1. One of the ways that teams were utilized to get Cespedes out last year was the high fastball with 2 strikes. When he left after the postseason last year, Kevin Long, the hitting coach for the Mets, unaware whether the Mets would re-sign him or not, kind of gave him a homework assignment to work on the high fastball, because he's an accomplished hitter. He's not a young hitter, but everybody can improve on something.
Yeah.
And that's part of what Cespedes tried to do this past off season when he was not riding horses or buying pigs or finding new cars to bring to spring training.
Buying a helicopter.
Buying a helicopter. He was looking to work on hitting the high fastball. Pulls that breaking ball foul. It remains 0-2. Now, with all that said, it's probably still a good objective to go upstairs with a fastball.
Well, when you're throwing 95, 96, absolutely.
Oh, Rupp puts the glove up. That's where they want it. He laid off. It's 1-2. Got him. Threw a heater right on by him. He got a little piece of it, and Rupp hung on. So 3 strikeouts for Velasquez.
Absolutely love it. I know it's supposed to be a fastball away on the outside corner that time. Hits the inside corner. Doesn't matter. Absolutely nothing you could do with that pitch.
Well, Cespedes has struck out. Philly fans, next time you want to grab Phillies seats, and the Phillies will be home beginning Monday, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by best value. So get the StubHub app today. Duda takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Duda singled his first time up. A ball that was knocked down by Cesar Hernandez at second base. Almost came back. A changeup at 86, and it's 2-0. Cabrera doubled with 1 out. He's at second base. A little tardy on that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Not totally sure what happened there. It's almost as if the ball went right through the glove of Cameron Rupp. Unless it got a piece of the home plate umpire, and that's what slowed it.
Yeah, it looked like it cut last second.
Got to be awfully careful here with Lucas Duda.
Right off the glove, it hits the umpire right top of the leg.
It's fortunate for the Phillies. It keeps Cabrera at second. Boy, he challenged him with a 3-1 fastball.
Was not expecting that.
I don't think he was.
Not me, the hitter.
Well, he may get it again here. Neil Walker's on deck.
Little meeting on the mound. Good time to go out. Cabrera's been on second base for a while. The crafty veteran he is. Probably picked up the signs. Now they're trying to change them. Or going no sign right here.
Which is what they did yesterday. Jared Eichhoff did it yesterday at one point in the game. And a strike 3 called. 95 right at the knees. He struck out 3 in the inning. You don't think he's hepped up about that? He has 4 strikeouts overall. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and 4 strikeouts tonight for Vince Velasquez. We'll head to the 4th in a scoreless game. Printers deliver unmatched quality, and their Jet Intelligent toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who? But WB Mason today, and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. Top of the 4th inning, the Phillies with 1 hit, the Mets with 2 hits. Bartolo Colon has struck out 5, 4 looking. Vince Velasquez has struck out 4. And Cesar Hernandez is behind 0-1. Cesar struck out looking his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Change up. Actually, that's a fastball. 86. That's what throws you off sometimes with Colon, is that you look at the action of his of his fastball, and you watch it fade away, you're thinking that's a changeup, but that's not a changeup.
No, it's not.
90.
That's why on TV it looks so easy to hit. And when you step in that batter's box, the amount of movement, and it's just not the movement, it's how late his fastball and his changeup moves.
Well, he was thought to be out of baseball several years ago. And then in 2012, he had an infusion physically, and it has led to 57 wins and 41 losses since. 2-2 pitch. Out to left field. Conforto heads back and will make the catch. And there's one away. And Odubel Herrera will be the batter. Odubel struck out looking his first time up. So we're into that part of the Phillies order where Pete Mackanin says that he has to be patient. And Murph, it seems like he's going to have to be patient with a number of spots in the Phillies order, particularly the way the offense is rolling so far.
Well, no doubt about it. Obviously, Pete Mackanin wants his offense to produce more than they have through the very first couple games here of the season. But, you know, he switched things up a little bit, has Cesar Hernandez in the 2 spot tonight. Odubel Herrera slides back to 3, Franco back to 4, and then Ryan Howard after that. He was asked before the game, why are you doing that? And he said, well, honestly, I just need to, you know, change things up, see if something else will work. He likes Cesar Hernandez in the 2-hole because Hernandez likes being in the 2-hole, and he's swinging a good bat. Gives Freddie an opportunity to see a couple more pitches up in that leadoff spot. And this is the guy that they really need to get going. You guys talked about it a little bit before the game. Odubel Herrera. They just need him to kind of find that stroke in the middle of that lineup and start to be a catalyst, the kind of catalyst he was a year ago. So Pete's just kind of playing around with it. It's early in the season, obviously, but he's trying to see what will work and if a different combination may produce a little bit more offense for the Phils.
I know Odubel's 2 for 16 so far. I think there's going to come a point where they're going to put him in the leadoff spot.
You could.
If they're going to keep Cesar in the 2-hole.
Well, and I understand. I know what Cesar is talking about. He likes to hit in the 2-hole. 1, he's going to see more fastballs. 2, he doesn't have to be a patient leadoff hitter. You know, we all know Cesar Hernandez is not a patient hitter. He likes to swing the bat. Me personally, I don't think, honestly, I don't think this team has a legit leadoff hitter.
I agree with that.
I like Hernandez hitting 3rd. I like Michael Franco hitting 4th. Now what it does is it gives you a little more depth in your lineup with some power. Ryan Howard's hitting 5th or Darren Ruff's hitting 5th.
I think this is going to be a work in progress. At least it seems that way. Odubel looking for a little of that Manny Mota stick. Franco threw it out to him, but half of it got stuck in the grass before the plate, and the other piece of it went to the other side of the plate.
That stick, when it's cold, does not work.
Darno.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
On a cold day, you need pine tar because that motor stick is frozen.
Well, if they throw the pine tar, I don't know if Travis d'Arnaud will be nice enough to pick it up. Odubel staying alive. He fouls it back to the screen.
I think d'Arnaud guys put the other half in his pocket.
People helping people, Murph.
I hope he doesn't do the laundry with it in his pocket. What a mess that'll be.
Odubel there doing everything he can to try to keep his hand warm from slipping off that bat. And he's down looking on strikes. 6 strikeouts, 5 looking for Bartolo Colon. Phillies have 2 outs here in the 4th. And Michael Franco is coming up. Well, the Phillies will celebrate, along with the rest of Major League Baseball, the life of Jackie Robinson. It'll be Friday when they take on the Washington Nationals. Special videos will include highlights from Ken Burns' Jackie Robinson documentary, which will premiere that night. For tickets, go to Phillies.com. Maikel Franco breaks his back as Asdrubal Cabrera makes the catch, and the side is retired. Nothing across for the Phils. We've completed 3.5 here at Citi Field. Not a whole lot of offense for either team. A little kindling and some pretty good defense as Asdrubal Cabrera wrap it up the top of the 4th with a very nice play. Brought to you by McDonald's. Come into McDonald's for an Egg McMuffin and medium iced coffee for $3.49. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Bottom of the 4th inning here at Citi Field. The Phillies and the Mets are scoreless. This is a night for pitching, at least so far. 3 hits combined. 10 strikeouts combined between the two pitchers. It'll be Neil Walker, Michael Conforto, and Wilmer Flores for the Mets. Walker flied out to left field his first time up. Just a bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Changeup, 83, and it's 1-2. Pete was talking before the ball game today about the starters. He said, you know, we're pretty pleased with the starting pitching so far. We have to tweak everything else. He goes, I know we're not going to be offensively this challenged. And he goes, I know the bullpen isn't going to be this challenged as the year goes on. He said, but if you want me to talk about a positive, he goes, I've been happy with the starting pitching. He goes, I know Morton did not go deep in his game. He goes, we've kind of figured out something with him. And it was more to do with how he was pitching from the stretch than anything else. He said, but I've been happy with the starting pitching.
You'd have to be. I mean, really, you would. I mean, unfortunately, they're 0-4, but they've thrown well.
1-2 pitch to Walker. Swing and a miss. He blew it by him. 95. 5 strikeouts. Eichhoff yesterday went 5+ innings. Aaron Nola, who will start Monday's opener, is hiding behind that hole right there. Jeremy Hellickson pitched well in Game 1. He'll pitch tomorrow against Matt Harvey. Really, it has come down to the offense and the bullpen, which are 2 huge components, but Conforto grounded out to second his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Boy, he is just pumping strikes. I mean, you have two different, totally different styles striking guys out here tonight. You got a hard-throwing right-hander and a guy that's stopping and starting his fastball, basically 91 to 86. That's how Colon is striking guys out. Velasquez is just firing. I mean, that's a nasty pitch right there.
That is. That's a great breaking ball.
That's the curve. No, he has a curve and a slider, but this is the loop of the curve.
Well, and it's so tight. It doesn't break a lot. You think it's going to be a fastball. Okay, I'm going to crush it. Next thing you know, underneath the elbows.
Fastball on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. 6 strikeouts for Velasquez. In fact, the last 5 outs that he's recorded have been strikeouts, and 6 of the last 7. MLB.com at bat. Follow the Phillies live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. 2 outs. Wilmer Flores walked his first time up on 4 pitches. That's 6 pitches to Flores, and all 6 have been out of the strike zone. That was pretty close.
And he's probably pretty excited too. He has not had to swing the bat yet.
No. Outside, 3-0. There must be something to this lefty-righty thing that you were talking about last time.
Well, I mean, you get in that habit of feeling very comfortable throwing the left-handers inside, and all of a sudden the right-hander gets up there. Changes it a little bit.
Well, he's walked him on 8 straight pitches. 3rd walk issued by Velasquez. And Travis d'Arnaud will be the hitter. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Kershaw Bumgarner again earlier today. And the Dodgers win it in 10. Chris Hatcher gets the win for Los Angeles. George Cantos suffered the loss. Pretty entertaining game yesterday in San Francisco.
Yep.
Outside, 1-0. So Rupp will go out to the mound and chat with Velasquez. Giants had lost just 1 game before today. They seem pretty pleased with their starting pitching the first week of the season. Dodgers pretty pleased with their offense the first week of the season and their starters. Last year, the Astros brought Velasquez up from Double-A. He was 4-0 at Double-A Corpus Christi. Came up, started 7 games, appeared in 19 overall. And if you're watching any of this ball game, you can understand why they thought they could use him out of the bullpen as the year went on to help them battle for the American League West title or for a wild card spot. You can see it.
And you can hear it by the way that ball is hitting the glove.
Strike 3 called. He struck out the side for a 2nd consecutive inning. 7 strikeouts for Velasquez. Well, his first start in a Phillies uniform, and he is pounding the strike zone. Strikeout number 1 came on a fastball, swinging to Walker. Strikeout number 2, looking. How about strikeout number 3? Kind of the same spot this time to a right-hander. Night will be Saturday, April 16th, when the Phillies take on the Washington Nationals. All fans 14 and under will receive the kids' pullover jacket. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. You can check out all the Phillies promotional items by going to Phillies.com. Along with Matt Stairs, Greg Murphy, and a whole host of characters. I'm Tom McCarthy up here in the booth. Ryan Howard leads things off here at the top of the 5th. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Somehow we were able to find a third heater for tonight's ball game. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. No wonder Keith Hernandez looked so cold in the Mets booth. I think we stole his heater.
As we should.
Howard slices one the opposite way. Conforto's going back. It is gone. A long home run for Ryan Howard. The opposite fields. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Oh, with that home run, he now moves past Yogi Berra on the all-time home run list. He also wins $200 for Bernice Graham of Riverside, New Jersey.
Well, Bernice might have heard the crack of the bat from there. That ball was absolutely crushed down in the zone. Look at that extension, head down, and there's that nice finish.
Cameron Rupp takes outside, 1-0. The wind is blowing in from left field. The wind had no effect at all on that baseball. That one tied up Rupp, and he fouls it back.
You know you've done a lot of damage versus a team in your career when you hit a home run and the whole stadium boos you. As a player, you absolutely love that.
Well, the ball came back rather quickly, and Rupp smokes one right back through the middle, his second hit of the day. He's 2 for 2, and the Phils have a batter aboard with nobody out, a run in. Watch this swing. Timed it perfectly.
As you can see, wants it away, but it's still down. It's not that bad of a pitch, but tremendous swing. Very powerful swing.
Well, that's 359 career home runs for Ryan Howard. And it's his 45th against the New York Mets. I think we pointed this out last year. 45 home runs against the Mets, 130 RBIs. That's a Ryan Howard season when he's at his peak. Could be 2. And it is 2. 4-6-3 double play. And 2 away here in the 5th inning. Cedric just got out in front of that pitch. It's nice to see the production for Howard. So there's the updated list. He's now tied with Johnny Mize. Johnny Mize was a heck of a player too. Not that El Caballo was any kind of a slouch, who he was also tied with before that home run. Carlos Lee.
Go ahead, Carlos. I think once you get up to all those numbers and higher, they're all tremendous players, all tremendous power guys.
Borges hits one past the diving Flores into left field. On his way to second, he's going to challenge the arm of Conforto, and he is safe. The ball comes out of the glove of Neil Walker. I think it would have been safe anybody.
Yeah.
So a double for Borges. I think he was thinking 2 out of the box. I don't think there was any chance he was going to stop at first base.
No, and I think every time that Peter hits the ball, he thinks too. If it's past the infielders, he's going to go out there knowing that the grass here is a little slower in the outfield, and a good throw. He still was safe. Tremendous hustle.
And notice the slide, too, toward the back end
Yes.
of the second base bag.
This is actually a pretty good throw. Walker couldn't handle the throw, but like you said, Tom, outside of the bag. Very good slide. Vince needs to calm his feet down a little bit in
He's
the batter's box.
He is dancing a little bit.
He's wired. Look, watch his feet.
Oh, he's got a leg kick, Matt. You like a leg kick.
I do. As long as you control the leg kick.
Baby steps, piece by piece. 2 balls, no strikes to Velasquez. Got to move a little closer to the plate, too.
Yeah, if you're going to have happy feet and step in the bucket, yeah, you need to be on top of the dish.
Well, he worked the count full his last time up, and he's doing it again here. Gets the strikeout, and the side is retired. 7 strikeouts for Cologne. However, Ryan Howard has given the Phils the lead here in the top of the 5th inning on opposite field home run number 45 against the New York Mets in his career. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th with the Phils on top. 1. Time now for our Citizens Bank minor league report. Now, things didn't go well for Lehigh Valley yesterday, but Reading defeated Portland 8-3. Jorge Alfaro had 4 hits, 2 RBIs. Kyle Martin, who was picked last year in the amateur draft by the Phils out of South Carolina, had 2 RBIs for the Threshers in their loss to Dunedin. Blue Claws lost to Lexington 5-4. Citizens Bank, the next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Velasquez has a 1-0 lead. Phillies took the lead on the home run by Ryan Howard in the top of the 5th inning. Bartolo Colon grounded out to third his first time up. You know, Bartolo pitched for the Yankees for a year. I don't think they loved him as much as they love him here in with the New York Mets. I think they just love the fact that he made contact on that. Rupp says he has it, and he makes the catch just in front of Ryan Howard. And 1 out here at the bottom of the 5th inning. All right, you can put your cologne placard down.
I agree, Tom. I think anything that Bartolo Colon does when he throws a good strike or strikes people out or takes the big hack and the helmet flips off or makes contact, I mean, they absolutely love when he gets a knock. They absolutely, because he's out there, he's having fun, and he's enjoying the game, but he still plays it hard.
Curtis Granderson will be the batter. He's 0 for 1. Walked his first time up. That's no balls and 1 strike. Phillies are trying to deny Bartolo Colon a little history tonight. We mentioned it during the open. If he wins, he'll tie Pedro Martinez for the 2nd most wins by a Dominican-born pitcher. Juan Marichal is number 1. Pedro thinks it's great. Bartolo says, yeah, I may tie Pedro Martinez eventually and wins. He said, but I have way more starts than he had. Pedro said, that's not a big deal. It's still a great honor. 0-2 to Granderson. Fly ball short left center field. Odubel Herrera is to the spot and he makes the catch for out number 2. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Matt, here we go. Which Mets pitcher won 3 games for the 2015 postseason?
DeGrom.
Jacob DeGrom is correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I believe he beat LA game 1 and game 5, and he beat the Cubs. I was covering that game. Game 3.
Were you in Chicago covering that game?
Toronto. I guess I wasn't really. Well, yeah, I was covering it on.
Sure you were.
Yeah.
Breaking ball 0-2. So back-to-back breaking pitches from Velasquez. So he's thrown 74% fastballs. The curve is the next pitch. He's only thrown 1 slider. Curve's just been better than the slider. But as you mentioned, the curve was his best secondary pitch last year.
Yeah, and the 1 slider he threw was to Flores, and he probably missed by 2.5 feet to make it 3-0. But the percentage of the fastball is what I love. You know, out of those 71% fastballs, 71% have a purpose pitch behind it.
He still has maintained his velocity here in the 5th inning. That was 94.
That's what I was very interested to see. I know it's his first start of the year, but he says he's out there, he's max effort, and I wanted to see how it would be from 1 through 5, through 6, through 7, to see how the velocity stays.
Out toward left field. It'll drop in front of Cedric Hunter. Just the 3rd hit for the Mets. It comes with 2 outs. Cabrera has 2 of the hits. And it gives Cespedes a chance to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Judy asked him, is it that easy?
Not all the time, but for a good part of his career.
Well, when you put a good swing on the baseball.
Yeah.
For Ryan, it's been easy.
Ryan
throughout his career.
He is a strong dude. Speaking of strong fellows, here's Cespedes, 0 for 2. Ball in the dirt. Cabrera is going to go to second base. That'll be a wild pitch. It's a smart play by Cabrera because he saw the ball rolled far enough away.
Well, Cabrera's always been a very smart base runner. You can see it's a very tough slider to get out there and block. And Cabrera, like I said, he's always been a very smart player and always a very good offensive and defensive hitter. And I don't think people talk enough about his base running. Cabrera throughout his career has been one of the smartest base runners in baseball. Nothing flashy. He just plays the game properly.
He's getting an excellent secondary lead off the bag. One ball, one strike.
Not afraid, is he?
He is not afraid even a little bit. You know, it's nice to see. You had mentioned about power arms from the right side. It's been a while since the Phillies have had anything like this. I mentioned to you Halladay. You said Halladay's more down in the zone sinker guy, which is true. And he got him. A breaking ball and a foul tip hung on to by Rupp. 8 strikeouts for 23-year-old Vince Velasquez in his Phillies debut. The Phillies up by 1. Of the week is coming off a terrific rookie campaign a season ago. Out of the Rule 5 draft and into the Phillies lineup, Odubel Herrera took the bull by the horns and swung his bat with consistency, putting himself among the major league's best rookies in average, hits, doubles, and stolen bases. He also became the first Phillies rookie to achieve 25 doubles and 14 steals since Jimmy Rollins did so 15 years ago. El Torito made a big first impression in 2015. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. El Torito will be the number 3 hitter in this inning as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Freddie Galvis leads it off against Bartolo Colon. He bunts it over the head of Colon, who makes the over-the-shoulder grab. What out? I thought there was a chance it was going to drop right between Colon and Walker.
Who says the big man's not an athlete? Getting off the mound and making a very nice play. Then the old behind the back flip.
Well, there was a time during his career, early part of his career, I mean, he was as dominant a pitcher, the American League, National League, it didn't matter.
You have no idea.
Cesar Hernandez, the batter, and he takes down low 1-0 as a balloon rolls across the infield grass. I mean, what you're seeing now, this is a guy who just knows how to pitch. He's overpowering, but he's not overpowering with what he used to have. He used to have 95, 96 on a consistent basis. It began with Cleveland, then Montreal, the Angels. There was a time where he was one of the best right-handed pitchers in the game. Now he's just holding a spot in the rotation for one of the other young Mets pitchers to come up and take. Look at that. 94% of his pitches have been fastballs tonight at different speeds, varying speeds. And Cesar has another base hit. That's the 5th hit for Cesar. Time now for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Bartolo with 218 wins is tops among active pitchers. CC Sabathia won today, his first victory of the season. I mean, you're going to have some dominant years when you have 218 wins.
That you are, and he just wasn't a guy that threw extremely hard. And when I faced him in Cleveland, he was mean. Now he'd brush you off home plate, he'd drill you. I'll never forget, we were playing in Cleveland one time, and Ben Grieve was hitting him well, and he wore one right in the ribs his next at bat. So listen, back off. This is my plate. Didn't bother Ben on. He went on to win the Rookie of the Year that year, but he threw a lot of fastballs inside. And just think the movement he has now, he used to have the same type of movement when he was throwing 96. Like that ball looks like a left-handed slider. The late movement it has.
Well, we mentioned the fact that he's right on the heels of Pedro Martinez, who is a Hall of Famer, with the numbers he put up during his career. What Pedro said about Bartolo, he said, "I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud that he's mentioned along with me and Juan Marichal. It's an honor that there is another Dominican player that has reached this level." And Pedro went on to say that the thing I like most about Bartolo Colon is that he's a good teammate and he's a humble person. As Hernandez goes, the throw to second is in time on one hop. I wondered if there was a hit and run there because he was looking in almost the entire time. There are 2 outs, but he didn't look like he had a comfortable jump at all.
I'm not really sure what was. I mean, there was 1 out. It might have been a hit and run. I don't know.
He does look like he's confused about something. He said something to Ryan Howard. He was looking in if Juan Samuel the entire time he was going back. 2-0. Now that's in there for a strike. It's 2-1. Blevins and Hansel Robles, the relief pitchers. Off to the left and out of play. 2-2. I think there was a hit and run. I think that either Cesar missed the sign or Odubel missed the sign.
I would agree with you. I would agree 100%. It actually looked like Cesar got a pretty good jump.
And then when he looked up, he sort of straightened up.
Yes,
he wasn't
he did.
down in sort of a running position. He's talking to Freddie Galvis right now in the dugout. 2-2 pitch to Herrera. Didn't come all the way back, so it's 3-2.
Well, the first 2 times with Herrera facing Bartolo Colon, he got them both times looking on that front door sinker.
Out toward left, that'll go right to Conforto. And the inning is over. So no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Hernandez caught stealing. We played 5 1/2. The Phils nursing a 1-run lead. Toyota's hybrid fleet is nothing short of a home run. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. By W.B. Mason, you can't go wrong when you buy right and buy your local Ford stores. Phillies lead at 1-0. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Day game tomorrow, and then it's back home to Philadelphia for the first homestand of the year. Opening day, the home opener will be Monday afternoon, 3:05 first pitch. Aaron Nola on the mound for the Phils. Sponsored by Nemours. HK's son, Kane, will sing the national anthem before the start of the ball game. Looking forward to that. All the ceremonies to take place before the first pitch. Padres are kind of banged up. That's who the Phillies will face. They keep losing starting pitchers. Tyson Ross, they lost today. He's got soreness in his shoulder as Lucas Duda fouls that one off. Duda's 1 for 2. He singled his first time up, struck out looking. Velasquez begins this inning with 89 pitches. Breaking ball. That's been a better pitch as the game has moved on.
It has. It has. He's not overthrowing it. Earlier he was overthrowing it, bouncing it, missing quite a bit inside to lefties away to right-handers. Now he's just kind of backed off a little bit.
0-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. He went upstairs with it. 9 strikeouts for Velasquez. Phillies will celebrate the Fanatic's birthday on Sunday, April 17th. All kids 14 and under receive the Fanatic Flare Hair Visor. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. The Fanatic's birthday is sponsored by Citizens Bank. So 1 away. Neil Walker's the hitter. 9 strikeouts today for Velasquez. You want to lay out a debut for anybody? Doesn't matter if it's a 23-year-old, a 33-year-old, or 25-year-old.
Or Patrick Cologne.
Doesn't matter. 42-year-old. Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of debut that you would like scripted out if you're Velasquez. 2 outs in the 6th inning, 9 strikeouts, 94 pitches. Hector Neris is warming up in the pen. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
How about that? The 95th pitch was 95.
Sustaining his velocity.
Unbelievable.
Not a bad pitch. That just missed off the outside part of the plate against a good hitter. And Michael Conforto, you have a battle right now. If you think about the future, these two guys are probably going to be battling for a long time if both stay in this division. And I can't imagine they wouldn't stay in this division. 3 balls and 1 strike.
I would agree. Great young arm, power arm, and a very good hitter at home plate.
Out to left field. Cedric Hunter has a long run in, but it's going to be Galvis who settles under it. The wind brought it all the way back. He makes the catch. The side is retired. The first 1-2-3 inning of the night for Velasquez. It comes here in the bottom of the 6th. Was the debut of Vince Velasquez in a Phillies uniform, and what a debut it has been. 9 strikeouts and a heater that began at 91, topped out at 96, and he sustained it throughout the entire outing.
Well, it's been a very impressive outing, that's for sure. Fastball into left-handers, away to right-handers, overpowering power hitters. Later in the game, like you said, Tom, he was getting stronger with his fastball, better location. He was getting in the groove. He found his curveball. He wasn't overthrown it. So by far, a very, very impressive outing by Vince tonight.
Well, it's time for our Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. You see Velasquez with 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. The record for strikeouts in a Phillies debut was Garrett Stevenson. That's for a pitcher who started his career with another team. Stevenson struck out 12 back in '97 against the Cardinals. He began his major league career with the Baltimore Orioles. Halladay struck out 9 in his first game in a Phillies uniform. Now, we're not saying that Velasquez is done, but Hector Neris continues to warm up in the bullpen. Pretty good chance that he's done after 6 innings. Colon's done. Hansel Robles, who pitched in yesterday's game, just pitched a third of an inning, charged with 2 hits and a run. Facing Maikel Franco. And Franco hits it back to our lefts. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Franco trying to keep his hands warm. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher, he's got the ski mask on with the helmet and the regular mask.
Well, the wind's picked up now.
Oh, it has. Up high, 2-2. Murph, have you checked your weather app to see what the temperature is down to here at Citi Field?
I've decided to discard my weather app and just go by the goosebumps. And it's cold.
Franco's down looking on strikes. And one away here in the 7th inning. Well, you know, if we knew that it came with a hood, we probably would have shifted to the mink instead of the gray jackets. Murph, that's what you got to go with the next time we're in cold temperatures like this. It's got a hood.
Yeah, I agree with you. Had we known that it had the hood.
Thank you for playing along.
Yeah, the red P logo would look really nice on that.
It would stand out.
Yeah.
Here's Howard. He's accounted for the only run tonight, an opposite field home run. By the way, we want to thank Danny O'Rourke, Scott Sheridan, and everybody else in the Phillies clubhouse for sponsoring everything that Murph is wearing today. They were looking out for our buddy down there. Howard takes inside, 2-0.
I'm not ashamed to say that I am wearing Scott Sheridan's long underwear. I'm not ashamed to say that.
You shouldn't be. You're a little warmer because of it. Outside corner, 2-1. Tough pitch. I think Ryan's thinking, all right, that's borderline, but I'm not swinging at it.
I find it so interesting when I watch Ryan Howard hit and how teams pitch him. The New York Mets pitch him away. Cincinnati Reds pitched him in the whole series there.
Towering fly ball deep to right field. It's going to stay in the yard. He just got that one toward the end of the bat. Otherwise, this would have been a 2-home run game. But there are 2 outs. Well, here is the only run of the game off the bat of Ryan back in the 5th inning.
Yeah, this is such a pretty swing. A 2-seamer down in the zone. Doesn't matter how hard the wind's blowing in. Ryan's been able to get below that wind and hit career number 45 versus the Mets. Almost had 46.
Some other ballparks that may have been 46. The one we just left, it probably would have been. Cameron Rupp lofts that one to left field, and Conforto makes the catch. Phillies go down in order in the 7th inning. So it's time to stretch at Citi Field. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th with the Phillies on top, 1-0. Nothing Phils. We go to the bottom of the 7th. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.tv Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. So if you have that app, you would have got a chance to see Vince Velasquez strike out 9 tonight over 6 innings of work. And now give way to Hector Neris. Neris has got an inning and 2/3 so far. Has picked up 1 strikeout. The Phillies bullpen will be asked to get 9 outs tonight, with Jenmar Gomez most likely being the closer in tonight's ball game. Now the bullpen, if ever you can say that someone or something was due, the Phillies bullpen is due to have a good outing, a collective outing. Daniel Stumpf, the rookie, is behind him warming up. You've got Flores, d'Arnaud, and then a pinch hitter for the pitcher, you would assume. Antonio Bastardo warming up in the bullpen. Talked to him for a little while today before the ball game. First pitch to Flores is in there. It's 0-1.
It's the first strike Flores has seen all day.
That's right. Eight pitches from Velasquez. He was the only one that Velasquez did not throw a strike to. He walked him twice. Velasquez walks 3. 2 times he walked Flores and strikes out 9. You can get greedy and ask for maybe another inning from Velasquez, but man, this was an eye-opening outing. 1-2 to Flores. What you saw tonight from Velasquez, and Matt, I don't know if you agree with this or not, is really what the Mets have seen from all their young pitchers for the last couple of years.
Oh, I would agree. Absolutely.
Whether it be Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard. Flores strikes out. 10 strikeouts tonight for Phillies pitching. A nice start for Hector Neris.
You mean like a power arm with a great secondary pitch?
Yeah, power arm with a great secondary pitch. You know, you were asking, we were talking about this before the game, and you brought up a great point about Velasquez. You said, you know, when was the last time the Phillies had something like this? And, you know, I brought up Halladay, and you said Halladay was more of a sinker.
He was a sinker ball pitcher
who threw 93, 94.
Right. Now, early in his career, he was a power pitcher at 96.
Off the outside corner to d'Arnaud. We went back to Brett Myers.
Yeah.
But you were asking right-hander.
Right-hander, yeah. Cole Hamels, was he a power pitcher?
Could be if he needed to be.
It could be, yeah, if he needed to be, yes. His bread and butter was a changeup.
But I think you're right about, I mean, Myers is probably, we might be missing somebody, but Myers could be the last guy that came up fire in 96, 97 with a good hook. 2-0 pitch to Darno. Popped it up. Freddie Galvis battling the wind under it. 2 outs. Well, speaking of pitching, we will certainly see some pitching when the Nationals come to town. It's a weekend series that starts next Friday as the Phillies will salute Jackie Robinson. That first pitch is scheduled for 7:05. It wraps up on Sunday. It's the Fanatics' birthday, brought to you by Citizens Bank. But look at that pullover. That's the giveaway for Saturday night for kids 14 and under. That's compliments of Turkey Hill. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com.
Is it 48 and under? I'd like to have one of those.
Well, I'm not going to say that on the air, but I might be able to get you one.
Okay.
Here's Alejandro De Aza, the pinch hitter. Swing and a miss. Hopefully by next week, all you'll need to wear is one of those pullovers. Yeah. Or let me preface that. All Murph would need to wear is one of those pullovers. In the dirt, 2-1. David Hernandez joins Stumpf in the bullpen. Well, he went around. De Aza even nodded yes on that one. Home plate umpire did not need to ask for help.
Hector Neris absolutely loves his split finger fastball.
When he gets ahead.
I mean, it's good. He throws it anytime. Right there again. And what's surprising is he has a sneaky fastball. You know, he can get up to 94 at times. We've seen 92 today.
3-2 pitch. Just missed down low, ball 4. Granderson's looking into the dugout. Pete McCannon's coming out. Looks like they're going to bring in Stumpf to face Granderson. So lefty on lefty. Pete has not been afraid to put Daniel Stumpf right into the fire this week in his first week in the big leagues. Neris is done. He got 2 outs. He'll hope that Stumpf gets the last one here in the bottom of the 7th. Hyundai defensive play of the game. This has been a pretty clean game all the way around.
Yeah, it has. It came back in the 4th inning. Michael Franco hits a soft line drive. But Cabrera, who's had a nice day hitting wise, makes a very nice timing and leap at shortstop. That is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Daniel Stump with 2 outs and a runner at first base is on to face Curtis Granderson. They'll probably keep him in to have Cabrera bat right-handed. Yesterday, he pitched a 1/3 of an inning. He said before the ball game, he said, I got my first out. Because in his first outing, he didn't get anybody out. But he got his first out yesterday as a major league pitcher. He is not one who lacks confidence either.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. And Pete likes what he sees. He saw yesterday. He saw changeups. He saw good off-speed pitches. I like his arm.
Starts Granderson off with a slider. It's 0-1.
Which is almost a given every time a lefty comes in and faces a lefty. First pitch off speed. I have no idea why. It's so hard to hit a good fastball from a left-hander. A good 2-seam fastball from a left-hander inside to a left-hander. Low and away.
Runner goes. They've got him picked. Oh, Howard couldn't get out of his glove. I think the ball got stuck in his glove. A stolen base for De Aza.
They got a good jump on the first move. He was taken off to see Ryan here, the exchange. Oh, he hit it right off the very end of his glove. He thought he missed it.
Thought he dropped it. That's it. Exactly right. He was looking down. Tying runs at second. Out toward right center field. On the run is Borges, and he makes the sliding grab. He had to come back to get it, but Borges was able to corral it. And the side is retired here in the 9th inning. No runs, no hits. One man left in scoring position, and one anxious moment that ended when Peter Borges was able to make that grab and send us to the 8th. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Here at Citi Field, where we didn't even know if we were going to have a game tonight because of the rain and snow that was falling earlier today, the cold temperatures. Well, it's been a pitcher's night. Just one run. It was a home run by Ryan Howard. This was a nutty play to finish up the inning.
It was, and I think it was the swing kind of fooled both Herrera and Borges. It was a big swing hit off the end of the bat. Borges was going back in the gap, and it kind of just died, and he made a good adjustment coming in and making a good timely sliding.
Thank goodness he's got some speed. I thought for a moment that he was looking to see if Herrera was going to make the catch or not. Here is Antonio Bastardo, the former Phil. Caught up with Antonio for a little bit today. He was actually happy to be back in the National League East. Cedric Hunter swings at the first pitch. Left side, foul territory, Flores, and there's one out. And Borges is due up. The pitcher's spot is up after him.
Did he say why? Was it a comfort zone, knowing the league?
Knowing the division.
Yeah.
Knowing the different teams.
Well, he's put up some pretty good numbers in his career with the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies traded him to Pittsburgh. It was kind of a clean slate for him. He lasted 1 year, pitched well for the Pirates. He's always been, and this is an understatement, he's always been very deliberate out on the mound, but he was effective. Remember his first outing as a starting pitcher out in San Diego, where he threw nothing but fastballs.
09.
Yeah, and after that game, he spoke very little English. But talking to him today, it's amazing how far he has come on so many different levels.
Yeah.
2 balls and no strikes. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
I also remember that year in 09 when spring training outing, he was working really, I'm sorry, 3 years ago, he was working really quick.
Yeah.
Remember that in spring training, get the ball thrown, all of a sudden game time.
There's a liner out towards center. Cespedes dancing around and makes the catch over his shoulder. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Cespedes just kept on going.
Well, as an outfielder, you always turn the best way you can go after a baseball. He opens up to the right, does a nice job of adjusting. Other players might turn their whole back around and have their back to the ball and pick up the ball, but he's quick enough and good enough athlete to adjust that way.
Well, now Tyler Goodell. Tyler's still looking for his first major league hit. He's not been given a lot of opportunities so far this first week. No balls and 1 strike. Looks like the Phillies will turn to David Hernandez in the bottom of the 8th inning with Genmar. The anticipation is if they have the lead in the 9th that he will close. 1 ball and 1 strike to Goodell. Tyler Goodell, excellent numbers last year, 279, 12 home runs, 39 extra base hits overall. And the 2-1 pitch to him. Swing and a miss, 2-2. 92 on that fastball. Swing and a miss, 93, and the side is retired. So the Mets bullpen has faced 6. They've retired all 6. Let's see if the Phillies bullpen can do the same. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cabrera will lead it off for New York. Mornings, wake up with the only live Philly sports morning show. Check out Breakfast on Broad starting on Monday morning right here on Comcast Sportsnet. On a cold night here in Queens, the Phillies lead at 1-0 thanks to a Ryan Howard home run. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. David Hernandez has been warming up out on the mound for the Phils. Hernandez in his 4th ball game so far will now face Asdrubal Cabrera, Cespedes, and Lucas Duda. 2, 3, and 4 for New York. Inside 1-0. Phillies bullpen has really been roughed up in the first week of the season. Part of it is that they've fallen behind so many hitters. They've fallen behind more than 50% of the hitters that they have faced, which is, obviously a big deal for any pitcher. But out of the bullpen, the key is to throw strikes, to get swings and misses. And that's been one of the issues for them to start the year. 3 balls and no strikes. Maikel Franco going over to talk to Hernandez, get a little rosin, give him a moment, catch his breath a little bit. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Cabrera take it all the way. Pete was asked today about the bullpen. He said, do you think that teams are being more patient with your starters because they know the bullpen is a work in progress? He said maybe. He said that's why we have to fix it. And what he meant by that is that he's not going to make changes. He said, listen, we can say that we can go down to the minor leagues and get this guy or that guy, but they haven't pitched it all down to the minor leagues.
They've played 3 games down
pretty much
in 2 days.
Even if you want to go to Double-A, it's the same thing. He said these guys have got their work. They have to figure it out, and they are going to figure it out. He was pretty positive about it. 3-2 pitch coming to Cabrera. Fouls it back. Now, he did say, he said he was realistic to understand that if it doesn't work out after 10 games, he said, well, then we're going to have to approach it a little differently.
As you know, the players in AAA,
they're peaking.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, they're peaking. Cesar Hernandez says he has it into foul territory with the wing, and he makes the catch. One away. It's time for the Major League Notebook, which is probably blowing all over the place. Here's Greg Murphy.
It's also a little damp, but we'll muddle through. Yeah, it is time for the Major League Notebook, guys. And we talked about it last night. Kyle Schwarber with the Chicago Cubs, the collision in the outfield that he had. We told you yesterday that he had x-rays on his ankle. They came back negative, but we also said he was going to have an MRI, and that has turned out to be really bad news for the Chicago Cubs and for Schwarber. A torn MCL and ACL. He is out for the remainder of this year. It's going to be really difficult, probably for him to get ready to be back for spring training a year from now. So certainly a big loss for the Chicago Cubs. They're a team that's loaded, but anytime you lose a guy of his caliber, you're certainly going to take a hit. And speaking of injuries, right here in New York, we saw Jacob deGrom leave yesterday's game against the Phillies a little prematurely. He had a lat strain. He said today it is very sore. It does not seem to be getting much better. It is a good possibility that they will skip his next start on Wednesday unless he makes a remarkable recovery in the next day or two so that he can throw his bullpen. So that lat strain seems to be something that might lag and hang around a little bit for Jacob deGrom, and he will not make his next start, guys.
Yeah, he was supposed to throw tomorrow and really downplayed it yesterday. Big time. They all did.
He kept on saying he wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
When you miss the start, you better start worrying about something.
2-1 pitch, inside 3-1. That was a breaking ball that just got away.
Overthrew a slider.
Cespedes made it a little closer than he needed to make it. There is Gomez warming up in the pen. 3-2. By the way, the Schwarber story, apparently right after the injury, he knew what the results were. He called Theo Epstein and asked if he could stay with the team and rehab the whole year, travel, do everything. I guess they're pretty close, a close bunch out in Chicago. Swing and a miss. Cespedes down on strikes. Hernandez, even though he fell behind the first two hitters, gets both, and there are 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
What a gutsy pitch right here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Goes with the old breaking ball. Cespedes looking for a fastball. That's a good 1.5 off of the dish. Anticipating the fastball. Oh man, it's not there.
I got to keep going.
Good pitch.
With 2 outs, here's Lucas Duda, who is 1 for 3. That may not be the best feeling for a hitter to foul that pitch off right there.
Well, because one, he missed it, or 2, it jammed him.
It jammed him.
Yeah.
Well, and he missed it too.
Well, those are the swings there where the crowd just goes crazy because you foul it straight back. When you look down your barrel, there's a big old white spot just below the label, but it's above the label.
Fell behind 3-0 to the first batter, 3-1 to the second batter, 3-1 to the third batter. Let's see if he can get the same result as the first 2. Hernandez is set to go. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Let's throw the same pitch.
Yeah, and hopefully the same result. Top of the strike zone.
Get an anxious hitter to go.
Well, as a hitter, you're thinking, man, how am I missing these pitches?
Swing and a miss. He got him. David Hernandez, a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 8th inning. A couple of strikeouts to go along with a pop out. He came from behind to get Lucas Duda. We go to the 9th. It's still a 1-run game. Sign your classroom up now for a Be a Fanatic About Reading program presented by Comcast. It encourages students in grades K through 8 to read for a minimum of 15 minutes a day. Top performing classrooms could receive a literacy visit from the Fanatic. For more information, visit phillies.com/education. Top of the ninth inning, excuse me. 1-0 Phillies on top. Well, they brought everything they had, from blankets to gloves to scarves to hats. But they have been able to hang through because there's fireworks after tonight's ball game. Here at Citi Field, a crowd of 37,083.
Weren't we talking before the game saying, I don't understand why they're playing this game. Nobody's going to show up.
Yeah, they showed up all right.
They showed up to see a great display of pitching. And, of course, a nice home run by Ryan Howard.
Yeah. Here's Galvis to lead it off against Familia. Mets used to play day games on Saturday. Now, if they played a day game today, we would not have played. As everybody in the Delaware Valley knows. Maybe they would have waited until 7 o'clock to get it going. There's the 0-1 pitch coming to Galvis. Out toward center field. And Cespedes waits. One away. Familia, the closer for the Mets, getting some work here.
I take a look at the scouting report on Familia. He doesn't throw anything under 91. His sliders 91, his split finger fastballs between 92 and 95, and his fastballs between 94 and 99.
He was so good last year for the Mets up until the World Series, really. That one goes right past him, backhanded by Walker. They won't get Cesar, and Cesar has his second hit of the night.
Well, Familia thought that ball was coming back a lot harder than it was.
I would agree with you on that. Well, Odubel Herrera is strolling to the plate with a runner at first. Oh for 3 tonight. Couple strikeouts. He flied out to left his last time. Familia last year, Matt, 43 saves. He finished 65 games, but 43 saves for the Mets.
For a pitcher who was never supposed to be their closer.
Right. Yeah, their closer continued to fail drug tests, including one this past year. So then the postseason rolled around, and he was fine in the division series, fine in the championship series, but pitched in 4 games against the Royals, 5 innings, gave up a couple runs. His ERA was fine, but there's a liner out toward left center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Hernandez around second, heading to third, and he'll get there. And the Phillies have runners on first and third with 1 man down. And boy, could they use some insurance runs here. Maikel Franco will be the batter. I don't want to say that Franco just has to put the ball in play, because a double play could wipe out the inning, but contact here would be so huge after this hit by Odubel.
It's a nice swing. We saw it last night in the 6th inning when he made the adjustment of going the opposite way and not over swinging. It's amazing when you take a nice easy swing how the ball will jump off the bat and you get to first base going, why don't I do that every time?
Well, I thought it was a great conversation. That it was me, you, and Pete yesterday, and you and Pete were having the conversation. I was just listening, where he was talking about back in the 70s when he was struggling as a hitter. He thought he was done. Thought he was done as a professional baseball player. He was hitting under 200 in the minor leagues, and he said that he just didn't have it. And he all of a sudden decided to change the way he went after pitches. He went to a 36 bats. I mean, that's a heavy bat.
It's like taking that bench down there and swinging it.
That's a heavy bat. And he said, all I did was just drop the bat to the ball and just let the bat basically provide the spark. And he said he went on to hit, is it 279?
Yep.
Double digits in triples, double digits in doubles, double digits in home runs.
Because you realize the easier swing you take, the more hands you use. Now, Pete was a front foot hitter. And he didn't hit off his backside like a lot of players now do. He used to go at it and dive at the ball and use his hands.
1-1 pitch to Franco. Outside, 2-1. I thought the whole story was incredible, but I thought 36 ounce, 36 length was, I mean, he's a big guy, but that is, that's a big bat.
That's a big bat.
Whose did he say it was? I can't remember. He said it was somebody's.
Babe Ruth?
Yeah. Chopper slowly up the third base line. Hernandez will stay at third. The throw is wide of the first base bag, and the bases are loaded. That's up to Hernandez as far as the read goes, but he's fast enough where I really thought he would have been able to score on that.
No, I agree. But that being said, he did the right thing. If he hesitated, then you stay. If you read it off the bat right away, you take off and go to home. But he hesitated a little bit. See how he hesitated?
Yeah.
Now the problem is now start moving down the line. Don't go back towards third base. Move down the line.
Oof.
And read the throw. That's the key.
Yeah, I don't think Juan Samuel is happy at all. His hands are on his hips. He was saying something to Cesar. I think he was saying, you need to score on that. I mean, it's up to his judgment, but Sammy kind of slapped his hands together, and it almost looked like on contact, you got to go. Well, now Howard is up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 9th inning. In the dirt.
And Tom, you made a great point right there. If they told Cesar you're going on contact, then you get your secondary lead, and as soon as that ball hits that barrel, you are gone. That's what he's probably angry about, by not going on the contact.
Yeah, he's gifted with speed, and I think he would have been able to beat anything to the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Howard.
Now, Familia doesn't throw a lot of high pitches. He usually works right at the knees. Ryan has got to make sure he can get the barrel out in front a little bit to get a little bit of elevation on that ball. Anything deep, he's going to hit a ground ball.
The velocity on that was 93. That's almost like a changeup for Familia.
I mean, look at the movement on this. That's a two-seam fastball.
Yeah, that's it. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Howard with the bases loaded. 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
So important to get this two-seam fastball up. Look at that thing just drop off the table with late movement.
Well, now it's up to Cameron Rupp. Cam is 2 for 3 in tonight's ball game.
Same thing. Stay up the middle like you did your first 2 at bats.
See, he laid off that fastball that was low. That didn't have the same action as the pitches that Howard saw. Same velocity.
Cameron's first 2 at bats, he had base hits up the middle. 3rd at bat, was feeling pretty good about his swing. Pulled off just a hair. He just missed hitting a home run to left field. Until you get locked in, you continue staying in the big part of the field. Makes you stay in the ball longer. Keeps your head still.
1 ball and no strikes to Rupp. Down the right field line, out of play. It's 1-1. Play again, 1-2, 97. One ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded here at the top of the ninth. The Phils up by 1, looking for a little bit more. And the pitch coming from Familia. Back toward the middle, slowly hit. Cabrera's got it, flips the short way. The side is retired. The Phillies threaten. They do not score. They leave them loaded, which means they leave the game to Genmar Gomez on top, 1-0. This Phillies-Mets series on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. I'm sure Ricky Bo enjoyed what he saw from Vince Velasquez tonight. Velasquez went the first 6 and struck out 9, walked 3, allowed 3 hits. Darren Ruff is in the ball game to play first base. And Genmar Gomez is the new pitcher. Genmar Gomez, 1 inning so far. That was on opening day. He has 1 career save. It came as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's 1 not only in the big leagues, but also in the minor leagues. I mean, this is a guy who was very effective for the Phillies, not in the 9th inning last year, not even in the 8th inning, but in the 7th inning, the 6th inning, sometimes in the 8th. But he throws strikes, and that's what Pete Buchanan wants. He'll face Neil Walker, Michael Conforto, and Wilmer Flores here in the bottom of the 9th.
And not very often do you have a closer that is a ground ball pitcher. They're usually a power pitcher that has a strikeout pitch. Either a fastball, good slider, or fastball, and a split finger fastball. Although he has an awful good changeup as well as a very good sinker.
So the thought is that they can leave him in against lefties and righties. Walker hits the first pitch right back to the box. 1 away. Well, that's helpful. Walker not pleased with himself.
Again, you get in this situation where you're facing the closer. You haven't seen him since last year. And I know you want to be that guy that steps up and you're the hero.
That's a good way of putting it. You want to be that guy.
But what's wrong with taking a pitch and just seeing what kind of movement he has? Unless you feel very comfortable facing him, go right ahead.
Conforto takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Conforto tonight is 0 for 3. A ground out to second. He struck out looking, and he popped out to shallow left field to Freddie Galvis, who is about a half a step behind the grass at third base. A little cue shot over toward Galvis. He's got it. Boy, he was in perfect position. 2 outs. 2 weakly hit ground balls by Genmar Gomez. He's thrown just 3 pitches and he's got 2 away.
Yeah, very nice pitch right here. Great changeup to a guy who's a very good fastball. Unfortunately, trying to be that guy picking a pitch where he's trying to hit a home run. Overswings on a very good changeup. And very good placement with Freddie Galvis, like you mentioned, Tom.
Well, Wilmer Flores is the batter. He's walked a couple of times. He has struck out. The Mets do have a bench of Eric Campbell, David Wright, Juan Lagares, and Kevin Plawecki. First pitch is in there at 92. It's 0-1. Down the left field, or right field line, excuse me, out of play, and it's 0-2. Genmar, I saw him the other day in Cincinnati. We were walking in the lobby together. He said, "Do you live in the Northeast?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Frio." Basically looking at me saying, "Why do you live up here?" Well, he's pitching in that Frio right now. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Wilmer Flores. The Phils trying to win their first game of the year. And the 0-2 pitch. Hot shot towards short, caught out of the air by Freddie Galvis, and the Phillies do win their first game of 2016. They win it by a final score of 1-0, and it may not be the way they scripted it at the start of the season, but Genmar Gomez gets the first save of the season. He saves it for Vince Velasquez, who picks up the victory with 6 shutout innings, and they ride the opposite field home run by Ryan Howard to win it 1-0. Well, here's the last out of a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th inning.
It's a fastball low and away. Does a nice job of hitting the ball hard to shortstop, but right at Freddie Galvis.
Well, huge smiles from everybody, and actually a huge sigh of relief, because the Phillies were not only able to win a 1-run ball game, they were able to do so by getting 9 outs from a bullpen that has certainly struggled during the first week of the season.
Yeah, very nice job by Nair, Stumpf, Hernandez, and Gomez coming in and throwing strikes and getting outs when they needed to.
Yeah,
Quality pitches.
Yeah, you think about it, not a